Yeah, the song from West Side Story immediately came to my mind when I started looking at these scriptures. So I had to use that for the opening song. So again, welcome to Holy Covenant, everyone here with us today and those joining us through Facebook Live. It's good to have you with us and welcome. Will you pray with and for me? Holy Wisdom, open my heart and speak through me in spite of me. May all we hear and say be a reflection of your grace. Amen. Anticipation. It's a ketchup commercial. It's Tony's song from West Side Story that we heard this morning. It's waiting for Christmas or for your birthday, or the curtain to rise on your favorite play, or for your favorite singer to come on stage, or that first date with your longtime crush. That sense of excitement of something wonderful and good about to happen, something long awaited and hoped for that you weren't sure would ever really happen. But oh my gosh, here it really is. It's happening, and it is good. It's every bit as good as you hoped. No disappointments, no letdowns. How often does it happen that way for us in reality, in our everyday lives? Often what we hope for, what we wait for, turns out to be just good, or okay, nice, not stellar. We learn to expect the good enough rather than the fantastic, because life has taught us that the amazing is rare. We don't really even believe in the amazing anymore, do we? Would we even recognize it if it happened to us? Look, Jesus has to tell the people in the synagogue, this has been fulfilled today. They don't recognize it. They don't know who he is or what he's been saying. And I'm not blaming them, please. I mean, don't hear me saying that the Jewish people couldn't recognize Jesus. That's, his own disciples didn't know what was going on, right? Jesus' message was not at all clear to most people around him, even those closest to him, even those to whom he explained it over and over and over. There's even a scholarly term for it. In the Gospel of Mark, it's called the Great Markan Secret. Nobody knows. It's this great secret. Don't tell anybody that I'm the Messiah. I mean, it's kept a secret, right? So nobody knows. His message is this amazing thing that people have been looking for, this healing and freedom and truth, but most can't recognize it. It's just too wonderful. It's too amazing. We've all seen those romantic comedies in the books, seen the plot lines, where the two lovers don't believe that the other one can love them, right? Oh, they're too wonderful, too attractive, smart, rich, worldly, whatever the setup is, right, to love me. Except that they do. And the comedy of the plot derives from all those missed cues and those misunderstandings and how much they really do care for each other, but there's all the misunderstandings, and so they think that the other doesn't. And in the end, there's some clever plot twist so that it's revealed how much they really do care for each other, and all ends well, right? That's the romantic comedy. And all too amazing good that we could never believe would actually happen to us, right? And this is true of Jesus' message too. It sounds too good to be true. We say to ourselves, well, I'm just average. I'm not a really spiritual person. That's not meant for me. Or maybe I'm not a very good person at all. Jesus never meant that for me. It can be easy to read this as metaphorical, by the way. When you read these lines from Luke, it can be easy to read this as metaphorical. Oh, they're prisons of the mind. Or we're being oppressed as being oppressed by debt. But that's not how it's written. That's not how it's meant. It's certainly not how Jesus intended it to be heard or understood. The Jewish audience he was speaking to was indeed oppressed by the Romans. They were often imprisoned because they couldn't pay the taxes or were seen as being in rebellion, or they refused to do exactly what the Romans wanted them to do. And a person who had disabilities, in this reading summed up as blind, or as we would say with visual challenges, visually impaired, was exceptionally challenged in that day and age because they could not work. There were no adaptations, right, for them. And so they could not work. They were dependent on their families and friends to take care of them, or if they couldn't, they had to beg. So they were literally cast out of society. So this is why the stories of healing have such a prominent place in the scriptures. Because Jesus wasn't just healing them physically, he was putting them back into community, back into their families, back into society by healing them. It's not just, oh, good, they didn't have to go to a doctor, or they didn't have to throw their money away anymore. He was restoring them literally to life, not just fixing a broken limb, okay? So what Jesus is proclaiming here is huge. It's not just nice or good to know. He's talking about changing the world as these people knew it. No wonder everyone praised him and the official world freaked out. Because Jesus is talking about changing, here's the word we've all heard a lot, changing the paradigm, okay? Something's coming, something good, okay? But, like so many good things, this isn't the lottery. It doesn't just fall into our laps. It isn't just handed to us. This isn't a top-down change that Jesus brings. He's not going to walk into Jerusalem and kick out the Romans with lightning bolts and a takeover. That's not how it works. He's working another way. He's working with people's hearts. He wants to change people so they will change the way they see and treat each other in the world, and thus will no longer oppress each other, and will care for each other and the world properly. Prisons will not be needed in such a world, and the causes of disabilities will cease. Jesus is playing a very long game here in strategic terms. But Jesus' hearers don't know that yet. Right now, in this moment that we read about here, this moment in that synagogue, they are caught up in the joy that the prophecy has come true. Here is their deliverer, the one who will make these things happen. That something good that they were promised has arrived. And like poor Tony in West Side Story, they don't realize that with the wonderful joy, there will also be struggle. There will be pain and there will be sorrow. But in the end, in spite of their sorrow, there will be joy. Because while we know the rest of the story, as they do not, we know all of the story. Yes, there will be disagreements and conflict with the religious authorities. Jesus will be arrested for rebellion against the Roman state and executed. But we also know that his spirit rises and lives on, that the Easter story is also part of this story. So while they don't know it, they're right. This is indeed the moment that they've been looking for. It just won't look the way that they thought it There may not be rubber bread, but there will be glitches along the way. And in the end, there will be joy. Something's coming. Something good. In all God's names. Amen.